Hey guys, I guess it is that time of the month already to check out some of the wonderful, amazing releases by amazing mod authors over on the Fallout 4 Nexus, because it is time for Mods Monthly. Today we're checking out all of the great, wonderful mods that came out during the month of June, and we've got some really special ones. Especially stay tuned for the last entry in this video. That one's really cool, and I think you guys are going to like it quite a lot, personally. Now, before we begin, I have one order of business to attend to, which is a big shout out to Nexus user Damiet25. This user has been giving an amazing amount of contributions to our Commonwealth weaponry team and its members. This person happened to pester me quite a bit on the Nexus DMs because apparently I didn't have my donations set up correctly on Nexus. So on Nexus, you can actually donate to a mod or to a modder if you really enjoy that work, and you can do it directly through like PayPal or something. And I guess I had never set that up properly. So thanks to Damia, who pestered me over and over again to do it so that they could contribute. They really wanted to do that, and they also wanted to support the other members of our team. I have to say, seeing support like that from you guys and our community is just incredible. And I suppose I can also use this time to give a shout out to all of my regular contributors over on Patreon. So yeah, thanks to Damiet again for the wonderful support to myself and to our team. And anybody else out there who wants to donate now directly to a mod, you can do so. I have it set up correctly, and apologies if you ever tried in the past and I didn't have that working. So whoopsie, it is all fixed now and good to go. Now then, back to the mods. We've got some really cool stuff, including remakes from past games, as well as some brand new weapons that I think a lot of you guys are going to like. Some that you've been asking for a very long time, and some that nobody's ever asked for, but they're here now and people seem to enjoy them. So let's go ahead and jump in with our first mod, which is one of the weapons that people have been asking for far too long. We're checking out the Musket by Selakii. This is going to add a musket with proper animations to Fallout 4, something people have been asking for a while. Personally, I don't understand it. Thematically, it is fun, especially when the Minutemen exist, but functionally, a musket doesn't make a whole lot of sense in a game like this because it's a single shot with an extraordinarily long reload, and if we were being realistic, it wouldn't do a ton of damage. However, this mod does balance it a bit better, and I did notice that around lower level enemies, I was one-shotting most enemies, and it was worth the reload, and it was fun to try to find a tactically advantageous position to make said reload before moving on to the next target. So that was actually quite a bit of fun, and it also comes with some interesting uniques that bump up the musket into something more interesting and much more useful. Surprisingly for a musket, this thing does come with a ton of attachments, including different kinds of barrels and stocks, as well as some sights and muzzles, crazy enough. Again, it does come with fully custom animations thanks to the wonderful MacDowell. Not only the amazing animator who's been helping us out from time to time, but also helping out other users, making sure that they get the animations they need to make amazing mods. So screw it, if we're going to keep doing shoutouts, shout out to Mac as well, because quite frankly, they're a cornerstone of the modding community right now, and we wouldn't be doing some of these amazing mods without him. Now, the musket is also added to the leveled list and will start spawning after level 19 on the Minutemen, and occasionally you can find it from specialty weapon vendors as well. There's also an outfit added with this mod called the Union outfit that will also spawn on Minutemen and is purchasable from vendors as well. So that's pretty cool if you want a outfit to go with this musket that makes a bit of sense. On top of that, if you're somebody who likes crafting their weapons, there is also a set of blueprints that can be found at the Castle Armory on the top shelf, which will allow you to craft more of this gun if you want to outfit your entire Minutemen army with muskets. It's a bit of a silly concept, but the idea of them holding down the castle with muskets is honestly really funny. When it comes to uniques, we have one known as the Flaming Compensator, a massive, weird-looking musket with a bit of a interesting design. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say here, but it does allow you to shoot out a sort of shotgun spread of flaming projectiles that are pretty cool. We also have the Whites of Their Eyes, a Minutemen inspired unique that has some really cool wrapping of the Minutemen flag around it, so you have some nice bright blue with the white accents, as well as the Shot Heard Around the World, which is going to be a Gauss variant of the musket, and that's the one I'm most excited to talk about because it almost kind of makes sense in a goofy sci-fi kind of way, propelling that projectile even faster than it already would thanks to the really cool coil design. Makes for an interesting and cool musket design, especially since you're going to be shooting once every like 10 seconds. So you want to make that one shot count, and this is going to make it do enough damage to punch through most big enemies you need. Overall, a very, very cool mod. Selakii, Spady, and the rest of the people who worked on this knocked it out of the park, especially Mac with those animations. Altogether, this is fantastic, and if you've been asking for a musket, you finally have it, and you should download this one, linked in the description right now. Up next, we have a simple but very well done armor mod known as the Enclave Officer Uniform by the OWAP team. OWAP has been making guns and armors from the past and future Fallout games, and this time we have an Enclave Officer Uniform that looks really, really cool. This one is specifically inspired by the one from 76, and it comes with a handful of skins that allow you to change this thing from a normal Enclave Officer uniform into maybe a Specialist or some other cool designs based on the different skins available. And you can even change out the logo on top so it's not even an Enclave uniform. It could be a Minutemen or Brotherhood of Steel, and you can match that with different colors to make it make more sense for that faction, and that's pretty cool. Overall, though, the quality of the models and textures for this are fantastic. It looks like a Fallout game asset, and I mean that in the best way possible. I know some people like to hate on Bethesda's designs, but this one, quite frankly, looks really, really cool. And so the fact that this is coming from 76, props to that art team, because this looks really, really cool. And the recreation is just as good. Now, if you want to get your hands on this outfit, thankfully OWAP has made a really cool way of integrating it, because it is not just added to the level list, but rather a brand new dungeon, the Holoscope Offices, where you might find an Enclave officer who you get the outfit from. And what's really cool is there actually is one sort of lore-friendly way to integrate this optionally. As a bonus, if you are using America Rising 2, which is a massive Enclave-themed quest mod, you can also get this from that mod through the Requisition Terminal. And I think that's such a cool concept, something I never would have thought of before, and that integration style is really, really neat. I personally don't use America Rising, but I know a ton of people who do, so if you do, you also now have an option to get this outfit in a way that makes sense to that faction, and that's pretty dang neat. Overall, a very simple, but very, very well done armor mod, I have to say. This looks fantastic, and I could see using this in quite a few screenshots, especially with more of the techie weapons like a Plasma Defender. Now, next up, bit of a disclaimer, we're checking out one of my mods. This is going to be the Weed Whacker by myself and Pig, or the Commonwealth Weaponry team. And this is a little bit abnormal. I don't like to cover my mods as of late with these big mod monthly recaps, because I like to make room for other modders and stuff like that. But today actually would have been the day I would record for the Weed Whacker, and instead I was recording for Mods Monthly. So that would mean skipping over the Weed Whacker entirely, and that just didn't feel right to me, because for some reason you guys seem to love this mod, and quite frankly I get it. It's really, really funny. We make some cool quality weapons from time to time, but this one is just so goofy and so wacky, and it pairs with another mod on this list, or today's video, that they just go together so well that I felt like they had to be included back to back. So that's why I'm going to start off here with the Weed Whacker. In case you're somehow not aware, the Weed Whacker is a tool used to chop down tall grass, weeds, or any sort of plant life that is growing in your yard that's hard to get to with a lawnmower. And we decided to make that into a weapon by doing some fun animation shenanigans, and we were able to figure it out, and this thing is really, really funny. You can have a pretty standard Weed Whacker with your normal Weed Whacker line, or you can upgrade it, throw some razor blades on the line, maybe swap out the line altogether for some barbed wire, or a pair of kitchen knives, or a massive saw blade. There are actually a good bit of attachments for this thing. There's also a handful of different paint jobs, and you can change out the battery on the back to be a fusion cell, an electron charge pack, or a fusion core to up the power of this thing to make it an actually serviceable weapon. You'd be surprised how you can upgrade this thing into something that does a good bit of damage. If you try to go up against something like a Deathclaw, it might prove a little bit more difficult, but against most humanoid and small enemies, it's actually pretty good. And I just started playing the game truthfully, like a normal playthrough recently, not just for modding and videos, but one that I could just play for fun. And the amount of raiders I found holding this thing, it's not a lot. It's only like 2 or 3, but 2 or 3 Weed Whackers is a lot to me, and that is really, really funny. Every time I see one of them, I give myself a little chuckle. And I let them live for a little bit longer, because it's quite frankly really funny that they chose a Weed Whacker as their primary weapon to go against the sole survivor. So Based on what I just said, this is obviously added to the leveled list. You may find this around the world on Raiders after level 5, and you can purchase it from vendors, of course, too. On top of that, there is actually a unique, and that can be found over in the hardware store in Cambridge, and that one has a unique attachment, which is a massive saw blade, and the whole thing is covered in blood. And that one's called Rip and Tear. It's really, really goofy. I don't know if we're ever going to get around to doing a chainsaw of sorts, but this might be the closest you get, so I hope you enjoy it, because quite frankly, you're not going to see too many powered garden tools for Fallout 4. At least until the next mod we're talking about, which is the Power Drill by the OWAP team. That's right, the same author who brought you the Enclave uniform just a few minutes ago now has the Power Drill, which Pig actually did work on a little bit as far as I know. And this is a fully functional, fully animated power drill, something that people have also been asking for some reason. And we finally have it as a really cool spinning melee weapon. That's right, 2 tools today, both of which have a lot of spinning for their melee action. They function actually very similarly in terms of the way that it's processing this damage inside the game, but visually very different. 2-handed versus 1-handed, one's really small, one's really big, but both have a sweet yellow paint job. To be honest, it was incredible to find out that this thing was coming out around the time that we were working on ours. Honestly, super, super funny. This thing has a really, really cool set of attachments. That's what I kept ogling over when I was getting the footage for this thing, was how many really cool attachments there are. The different drill bits you could pick, as well as changing out the battery size and throwing on attachments that could heat the drill bit up, or maybe give it a cryo effect or electrify it. I think there's even a poison one with rat poison. So many cool attachments that I love. It looks so cool. Now, one thing that does confuse me a bit is that OWAP team typically does new and old Fallout editions, but I'm not sure that the power drill is from anything. It doesn't mention it on the mod page, and so I'm wondering... Oh, nope, it's right here. It's Fallout 76, and I don't know how to read. Apologies that that's not just sitting in my brain. I don't actually play 76 that much. If it was from any of the past games, I could have told you that instantaneously. Anyways, moving on, this thing is added to the leveled list. Specifically, anybody who would have a melee weapon might have this instead, and that'll start happening after level 10. There's also a unique that you can find over in Hardware Town, which, funny enough, I found on accident while recording footage for something else entirely, and went ahead and picked it up naturally, and that was quite a bit of fun because, quite frankly, it's a fitting place for this thing to be found. I'm happy to see that we didn't actually use Hardware Town for our Weed Whacker, because that means now both of these cool tool-type weapons can be found in 2 different places rather than in the same spot, at least as far as the uniques are concerned. Overall, a super fun melee weapon, a very unique twist, just like the Weed Whacker. Both of these tools are something that should be around in Fallout. They would exist, power drills and Weed Whackers. The question is whether or not somebody would use them as a weapon, but both of these mods make sure that they do. So if that interests you, I'd recommend grabbing both of these. They're done in a very similar style, and I think that they're both really fun additions if you want some wackier weapons on your raiders. And now that takes us to the last mod of the video, which, like I said, is an absolute banger, something you guys should have been waiting for. This is called AKs of the Wasteland, an AK pack by Gecko-inikin. Gecko. The AKs of the Wasteland mod pack is going to add a handful of new rifles into the game. Well, technically, it's really only one rifle, but it has so many modifications that you can actually make it into entirely new weapons, and quite a few of them. You can make a standard AK-47 or AK-74 style weapon. You can make an AK-74 SU. You can make a Galil. You can make the Chinese assault rifle from Fallout 3, and you can make an AK-112. And I have to say, with the right parts equipped, this might be one of the best 112 interpretations we've ever seen. It actually looks a lot like something we've been talking about. The idea of the AK-112 has been up for debate in a manner of ways, both on Discord, Reddit, YouTube, Fallout 4 Nexus. Everywhere people debate whether the AK-112 is even an AK or what it should look like, but one idea that myself and Pig had once was putting it on the receiver of the Chinese AR and making it sort of a Chinese DMR. Well, that is actually represented right here in this mod, so maybe we don't have to do that anymore. We still might. But it is very, very well done, and all of these things, the AKs, the Galil, the Chinese AR, the AK-112, while they can all be made into their standalone weapons, you can also mix and match all of the parts. If you want a Chinese AR from Fallout 3 with a Galil barrel and a stock from an AK-112 and a magazine from an AK-74U, you can do that, which is just ridiculous. The amount of customization options is crazy. And this modder here, Gecko, I'm not going to try again. They only have 2 mods, this being their second, and this also being their first weapon mod on the Nexus. Their previous one was actually a location mod that looks pretty cool. So for this to be their first mod entry as a weapon is pretty insane. Not to mention it comes with custom animations. Now, I've seen some pretty crazy custom animations on the Nexus, and these are perfectly serviceable. This is obviously a new modder, but that means this is obviously a new modder, but they did a pretty good job on the animations. It's maybe a very small amount of polish away from being a perfect set, and it's not just custom animations for this one gun. Every receiver has its own set of animations based on where that inspiration came from. So the Chinese AR style receiver will have animations inspired from the Fallout 3 Chinese AR. The Galil has its inspirations from somewhere else, and the AK has inspiration from somewhere else. So they all have slightly different animations, which is super cool. It's a little bit of flavor that just makes this mod a step above most weapon mods. Not to mention, you're getting so much content in one gun. It's truly incredible, and this thing is leveled listed. On my own playthrough, once I downloaded this, I immediately started seeing it pop up on different raiders, NPCs, settlers, etc., and they all had their own cool custom combination of these parts, which was awesome and really cool to see. People who love makeshifty weapons will also like this because that style of integrating all of these parts from all these different guns is kind of cool. All of the AK style platform guns have interchangeable parts now, and they can make some really cool and interesting designs, which is something that I could see raiders doing. So overall, as far as a first weapon entry goes for this mod author, this is fantastic, and I cannot wait to see what they have planned for the future, because quite frankly, the quality on this is amazing, and anything that they might do in the future could just get better. So stay tuned, and I would recommend watching this profile because quite frankly, it's really cool. If you want to try this mod out or any of the mods we talked about today, they will all be linked down in the description below as always. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you'd like to support my work directly, whether it's the videos I make here on YouTube or the mods I make over on the Nexus like the Weed Whacker and other weapons, you can check me out over on Patreon. That's one of the best ways to support me directly, but if you want to support the whole team, you can also check out Pig, Mac, and anybody else who helps us. They also have links usually on any mod page that they helped with, so you can check them out over there as well. And once again, there's direct donations now, so if you're into that kind of thing, I guess you could check it out, but by no means am I asking for that, only if you're one of those weirdos who really, really wants to support our work. Weirdos wasn't nice. You guys truly are awesome, and anybody who donates, quite frankly, you guys are amazing. It makes me feel so grateful to have a supportive community like you guys, supporting not only the videos here on YouTube, but also all of the mods we make, which are a lot of work for some really, really cool payoffs. So I hope you guys enjoy once again. If you did, consider dropping a like on the video. It really helps out here on YouTube, and it does so for free. And with that, I will see you all in the next one. Peace!